can't get any closer than that.
1099.9. Well, that's because this is an averaging software.
Right.
So if I brought up the raw numbers, you'll see it. Current test without the filtering. So instead of 3 pages of data, if I got 20 pages, you can see the numbers in the background. Let's see here.
There you go.
There it is. 1100.3. 6589. 1100. Got a bunch of them in there.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Sorry. So that's the raw data before filtering. A bunch of 1100s in there.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, there's 1101, 1100, 1100, 1101, 1101, 1100, 1100, 1100, 1100. Because this is sampling every, what is it, 10 RPMs about?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it filters it down to about every 60 RPMs or so.
Right.
It's there.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
1100 rear wheel. It's a lot warmer today than it was the other day too. Today's about 60 degrees, so it's a nice day. It's our average day. So this is, you know, there should be no correction factor going on here. And change the scaling on this so it can look right. I can change this to 1200. Our graph back to normal.
Okay, gotcha.
Because it was only scaled to 800, so we rescaled it so we can see it on there. Save test. So a 20% change in E content gave us about a little more than 20 horsepower.
Big gain.
Yeah. We'll overlay that. Yeah, look at that. So that's E60 versus E80. We put E98 in it, but there's still some, you know, some regular. So this came in with just regular E85 from the pump, and it tested at E60 based on the data. And we just added E98 to it to get it up to E80. And I imagine if we add a little bit more, it'll make a little bit more power. So it's darn good.
Absolutely. It's wild.
Yeah. I thought the record was 1106, but Jordan Michaels said something to me about being 1200. I can't remember whose car was 1200.
Was it Paul Ferrucci's car by chance?
No, that was way back. That thing was only like just over 1,000.
Okay.
It was like 1,018.
Man, I can't think of who.
I can't think of anybody who was here at 1,200 horsepower.
Me either.
I want to smash the record. You know, that's always the goal, right?
Right.
But looks like the belt might be gaining some traction, or no? That's 5. No, it's 4 or 5. Okay. About the same.
Yeah.
17.4 pounds of boost. 17.2 at peak power. So it's a touch over 17 pounds of boost. We're basically maxed out on pulley.
Yeah.
We're running the biggest lower pulley we can fit on with the XDI system. So I had a couple of comments. We made multiple videos on this car. Let me shut the fan off. We made multiple videos on this car last Friday. The first one I think was on the very base tune that I gave him to break the motor in, was 1,028 horsepower, which, you know, being a professional tuner, you're mindful of this stuff all the time. We put a brand new motor in the car with all the same parts that were on the stock long block, and I pulled 6 or 7 degrees of timing out of it and gave it back to him. Here, go put 500 miles on it, bring it back, we'll change the oil, and then we'll put it on the dyno. And I wanted to run it on that base tune, and it made 1,028 on the first pull, and backed it up with 1,028 again. So 2 pulls back to back and made 1,028. I got a lot of questions on what's the combination, so I'm going to run through it one more time. Starting at the air filter, we got the Rotofab Big Gulp. Now this is the larger of the Rotofabs that are available. It's called the Big Gulp series, says it right here. We got a 112 millimeter throttle body. My installer fabricator Nick made this air inlet. We took a 103, milled off the flange. We welded a 112 flange on it and then ported it to keep the angle right so it lines up with this air box. This is the engine is my specification, Texas Speed 427 with their PRC cylinder heads and a rough idle cam, my rough idle blower cam. Obviously the Magnuson TVS 2650. It is an out of the box supercharger. You know, the only real addition here is the throttle body. We are running a 70 millimeter upper and a 917 lower. It's still on the 8 rib. This has the XDI system, which essentially adds a second LT4 pump, belt driven, and we got the XDI 60% over injectors. Running a Mighty Mouse catch can setup. It's got a monster triple disc clutch in it, and that thing drives like a factory clutch. It is perfect. We got a 4 Innovations twin pump system, fuel pressure regulator on the firewall. We have a DSX flex fuel sensor on it. Cook's long tube headers, 1 7/8 into a 3-inch catback, and it's actually has the Flowmaster catback on it, which is dual mode. So that's a new addition. We did the 1LE wheels on it so we can get a much bigger tire on the car, and we're running a big tire combination. So I believe these are 315, 30, 19s on the front, and I believe we're running a 3. I'm pausing because I don't want to sound stupid. 345, 30, 19 on the back. On the 1LE wheels, and you can see it's using up every bit of wheel well. And these are the Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2s, okay, for maximum traction. It's got our alignment in it to get the tire as flat as possible on the ground for maximum traction. It's not set up for the road course, it's set up for the street. So stock transmission, stock rear end. There really isn't. Am I forgetting anything?
I don't think so. I think you're pretty much spot on.
Yeah. So.
And we already talked about the XDI system in the
Yes.
60s. So.
The XDI, the 60% over injectors. We're on E80 right now, which is a combination of pump E85 and I think we put 5 or 6 gallons of E98 in it to bring it up to E80.
And we got a Mighty Mouse catch can, right?
Yes, I mentioned the Mighty Mouse catch can over there. ATI Super Damper. It's a fully forged 427, and
I can't think of anything else.
yeah, it's pretty stout.
Oh, it's got a Flowmaster catback on it.
Yeah, you can see that. Yeah, Flowmaster. So, customer picked that out, and he loves it. I mean,
Yeah,
and
hey.
I'll tell you what, it does a pretty good job. You put the thing in stealth mode, it's nice and quiet.
Yeah.
It really is. And
It
then
sounds good.
Boy, you take it out of stealth mode, and it's like, the thing's a monster. So, a lot of custom fabrication work by Nick D, my mechanic. He made a lot of these lines and fittings to make this whole system fit a lot neater. Super detail oriented, attention to detail, meticulous. So everything's gotta fit like a glove and have no issues with rubbing or wear or anything. I even made a nice little bracket over here to support this line. You know, everything is zip tied and clamped, and so he's definitely a master fabricator. Does a hell of a job for us. Anyway, any questions or comments, post them down below. We're always happy to answer your questions. This is super duper street brawler. Pretty cool.
Have you guys tried the Whipple in comparison to the Magnuson?
Yes, we have.
Okay.
We have. You know, and the Whipple's a great supercharger. Don't get me wrong, but they're in two different arenas. You know, I'm sure that Whipple's working on something, but currently, right now, this thing is about 50 horsepower better than the Whipple at exact same combination, exact same boost. This one makes about 50 more horsepower. It's just that much more efficient. So it's pretty good. I think it's turning slower to move the same amount of air. I could be wrong on that, but it's just my take on things. We happen to be lucky enough to have two cars back to back. We did the exact same package on them. The only difference being the supercharger.
Yeah.
Same cam, same header, same exhaust, same fuel system, same everything. And there was a 50 horse difference between the two cars. So, and I overlaid them one on top of the other, and the Magnuson was actually about a half a pound less boost in some areas, most of the run.
Right.
And it was 50 horsepower, so it was pretty impressive to see that. You know, I'm still a huge Whipple fan. It would never stop me from using a Whipple.
Oh no, absolutely.
But this thing's bad to the bone. You know, 1,100 horsepower, and it drives like a factory ZL1. It's incredible. So we're thrilled to have the opportunity to build something this badass. You know, not everybody has the budget for it, and I understand that. And we have budgets. You know, we have builds for everybody's budget. So we work within budgets every single build. So, anyway, I'm babbling enough. Thanks, guys. Take care.